Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. Today's video is going to be the criteria to follow when buying a studio, what to look for when buying a studio apartment, how to know if a studio apartment is worth it. I've compiled this video through a number of questions that people have been asking in the comment section. Before this, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. I'm always answering questions and making videos on the questions that people have because I usually get a fair amount of the same questions over and over. So I kind of compile them into one video so that everyone gets their question answered. So when it comes to buying a studio apartment, and I guess more or less this can be applied to any type of real estate that you're buying. The first question that someone was asking is how to tell if the price is worth it. And I think this is also a very important topic as well because a lot of people tend to not know how to tell if a property is the right price. What I've learned, what I've seen, what I've gotten from other people, and what has helped me over the course of the last couple of years is to figure out the rent for the place times 12 times 15. Very simple. If the rent is $1,000, you multiply that by 12 months in a year, that's 12,000 times 15 months, and that's a number you get that should be the current price of the property. And it's usually 15 years because most investors want to get their return back within 10 to 15 years. 10 is very optimistic. Very optimistic. You should be aiming for a 15% return. After 15 years, the money that you've put into it, you should have gotten back already. i.e., once again, if the rent is $1,000, after a year, that's $12,000. Times 15 years, the property should cost around $180,000. Roughly. This isn't there's no real exact science to this, but you should be going based off of these numbers. So if you found a property that's getting you $1,000, I don't know if you heard that, it was like a huge squawk or something outside. I don't know what that was. It's getting you $1,000 per month. Over the course of 15 years, the place should be $180,000. You should be getting anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 from it, roughly. In price, if you look at a place, $1,000 per rent per month, and the place is $250,000, it's overpriced. I've looked at places before, for example, where there's a tenant who's currently inside. It's a studio and or a small one-bedroom. The land fees, the HOA fees, whatever you kind of want to call them, roughly around $250, maybe $300 per month, and the person inside is paying around a good $600, $650 for rent. And then you look at the price, and the price is around $210,000. It's not worth it. It's overpriced because people are trying to, a lot of times because people don't know these numbers, it's usually a lot easier for someone to, and I don't want to say like emotionally buy something. You see something, you really want to buy it, you think you can make a profit off of it, and people end up buying it, but then they end up realizing that the entire time they were not going to make a huge profit off of it, and therefore they probably shouldn't have bought it in the first place. So go by this metric. It's not exact, but through the 10 to 15 year period, this is how long it should take at the current rent for you to get your money back. Not counting, rent increases and or the value of the property also increasing. Someone said, do I look for schools, hospitals, or population density? I assume you mean when I'm looking for a place, do I see if these things are around? Not necessarily. Schools I think are great depending on what you're really trying to go for. If you're looking to rent out to university students, and of course, you would even make a bit more sense if you're closer to the school. Hospitals, not so much either. I mean, it kind of depends what you're going on. I don't know if you can hear that outside. It sounds absolutely insane. It kind of depends on just what you're going for in your investment portfolio. Are you looking for senior homes and stuff like that, which is also a really big thing. A lot of people forget that you can also, not all of them. You can buy you can usually buy like flats or like rooms in senior homes sometimes also as an investment. Just throwing that out there. As far as like when I saw the word hospital, that's what I was like, I kind of got it from. Population density, I usually prefer, I prefer larger cities and or capital cities. Not to say that other places aren't as amazing or as great, just me personally, I tend to try and flock to these areas or something that is directly adjacent, i.e., if you want to buy something in New York City, You can simply look outside of the 5 boroughs, or you can even look towards Jersey, or look somewhere, there's something that's very close to be able to actually achieve the goal that you're trying to do. Me, myself, personally, I mean, it really depends. It depends on what you're trying to go for. Are you trying to rent out to students? Are you trying to get something for older people to be able to live for a while? Are you also looking for a very dense city, or do you want something that's a bit more relaxed? Are you looking for something that you're able to rent out as a holiday flat for someone like that? You're probably not looking for something that's where there's going to be tons of people, because you may want the idea to be able to write on Airbnb or some other platform. Not a lot of people around, secluded. You can have your own vacation adventure because there's no one around. Kind of depends on what you're going for. Me, myself, I like capital cities, and I'll tell you why, actually. I don't know if you can hear that, it sounds nuts. The idea is that I've been reading a lot of things over the last couple of years about the growth of cities in the future. Over the last 10 to 20 years, we've seen a massive increase in the amount of people who have actually been moving to cities. The idea is cities have more nightlife, more things going on, more people to meet, more jobs, more money, and therefore we're seeing the world's population rapidly going to cities. If you look at the other, a lot of villages have been completely abandoned or torn down, or just no one's really there anymore, because everyone's moving to these cities. And it's expected by the year 2050 that studios will be one of the most sought after places. It's depressing and true at the exact same time, with the rise of dating apps and people not being able to, like I said, it's kind of depressing, but stay with me. The idea is that because of dating apps and because people won't really know how to deal with each other anymore because we have so much technology around us, that a lot more people will be single. And these single people will need places to live, as they don't really require a 1-bedroom. And therefore studios, even studios right now, if you look at many cities, studios renting out tend to have a premium more than a 1-bedroom, because there's usually a lack of studios, once again, in many major cities. So that's usually what I look for. This is why, also the reason studios tend to be cheaper, they're easier to acquire, and also because of the rapidly rising demand. I've never had a place of mine, whether it be a studio or a 1-bedroom, that had trouble being rented out. There's usually a lot of people who just need a studio for themselves. Anyway, someone said, he's from Spain, he lives overseas, and if I have any idea where to buy a studio in Spain, I would look into Barcelona, as it is Barcelona, everyone knows this. You can look into Madrid. I would look into, there's a city directly next to Barcelona called Badalona, that is B-A-D-A, Lona. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it's right on the water, and property is like 1/3 the price of Barcelona. It's literally like across the street. It doesn't make any sense, kind of. You can look at Malaga. You can look at Valencia. There are many different places in Spain. I think the word Spain in general is already a huge selling point to many people. I have a place in Spain. Oh, that's amazing. It's clearly somewhere beautiful. I think anything seaside is always going to be a winner. You don't have to necessarily focus on Barcelona, by the way. There are tons of cities along the coast of Spain that are also incredibly popular, and usually once you leave Madrid and Barcelona, thank you to my friend who actually has lived in these places, things become incredibly cheaper. He knows people who rent like 2 bedrooms and stuff like that for around like $300, $350 a month. So don't be afraid to go to other places. Of course, look for places that are like, popular. Don't look for like a little town with like 300 people. You can look for other like seaside places as well around Spain, and you'll probably have a fair amount of success, especially if it's a relatively well-known city and you can find people to, especially if you live overseas, to actually help you rent out the place when you're not there. Just ask them, realistically, like, is this a good place? Is this a good spot? You'll be surprised how honest these people will be with you, simply because they want to help you, but also if something goes wrong, then they kind of get the backlash from it. So, yeah. Someone was asking, do I check crime levels? Yes. I think that's also a very big thing that everyone should be doing. If you're looking to buy a place, especially if you are not familiar with the area, look up the crime levels. Look and see if it's crime-filled. Is it safe? You realistically want to be able to put people in there for either short-term or long-term and not have them be crimed. Yeah. Someone said, do I look for areas that are up and coming, or should they look for areas that are up and coming? This is a difficult one because there are many different factors that go into this. A lot of people look for places that are up and coming with the expectation of it being built up. This is always a coin toss. No one knows for certain if a place that is up and coming is going to continue to be up and coming over the course of a 10-year period. But then the issue is, after that 10-year period, will you have missed out because you could have bought before? There are many places around the world. You can find articles about them. You can find, type in the name of a city and type in up and coming, where people talk about that this is the new spot, this is the new place to go to, this is the new so-and-so. And then lo and behold, it's not. This is a really big thing. I try myself, it may work out for you as well, to look for places that are already established, that have already come up, because it's really a coin toss. You never know what the area might be bad, and then it might be slightly better in 10 years, but it's like, oh, I could have put my money somewhere else. I think if you are looking for a place that is up and coming, look and see how far it's already come, i.e., look around to see if there's construction happening. If you read news articles about this place is up and coming, this place is going to be amazing, so-and-so, and you go visit that area, which you should probably also do, or have a really close friend who lives in that place, take videos and photos for you so you kind of see exactly what's going on, is to see how many cranes you see in the sky, how much construction there is going on, if there's new schools opening, new cafes, new bars, new restaurants. These are all very important things. If you read an article that this place is up and coming, and the article says 2015 and it's 2020, and you go to that place and it still kind of looks the same, might be kind of time to move on. I've seen places that have been up and coming for the last 10 to 15 years and they still haven't done it. There are actually a couple European cities that I thought about investing in, where the article said that these places were going to be the new Paris and the new London. Nope, they're still the same. So yeah, it's just a matter, it's always about research. Never be afraid to do more research. Never be afraid to kind of look deeper into something. I don't know if people are just simply timid of doing these things, or are afraid of a wrong answer. If the answer isn't right for where you're trying to buy something, there are 3,000 plus other cities on the planet. You'll be totally fine buying somewhere else. Someone was asking how much renovation needs to be done on a place. Is it priced in? It was kind of an odd, fragmented question, but I think it was about a place being overpriced. Just realistically, do the rent thing that I told you about, the 15-year time frame thing. If you do all that math, almost multiplying, if you do all that math and you realize that the place needs around 30,000, 40,000 in renovations and is being listed for 200,000, when you know the rent, the actual price should be maybe 140,000, that is the actual math, 12 times 15, minus 30,000, because it does need it, unless it's actually been priced in. A lot of places don't tend to price them in for whatever reason that people try. In real estate, just to be honest, everyone's trying to make not a quick buck, everyone's trying to make a buck. So just understand that sometimes when you're buying places, a lot of people will have things overpriced because they're trying to get you to give them the extra money. When you're buying something, don't be afraid to either ask the realtor to talk to the actual owner and kind of, be real with them. I've seen a couple of places that I knew were overpriced. I knew that the rent was a little bit lower than where it should have been, and it probably hasn't been raised in the last 5 to 10 years because the owner at some point just didn't feel like doing it, whatever the case might actually be. I've sent them the calculations, not the actual owner, but the realtor, and I'm like, hey, the rent is this, the land fees are this is how much I'm supposed to be getting, this is over the course of 15 years, this is how much it needs in renovations, and this is the price. And I'm like, it should be around here. Can you send these numbers to the actual owner and let them know, like, hey, your place is overpriced. You're still going to get money from me. It's the fair amount that you should be getting. And can we move along with this? You'll be surprised because a lot of people will go, Okay, yeah, sure. Like I've put offers in places for that were like 40, 50,000 less, giving them the real information. And then realtor 2 days later, she goes, well, you know, we've reviewed all the information and he likes your offer. And I'm like, yeah, because it's the real number. You were trying to give me these fake numbers, trying to make extra money. Like, just take the real amount that you should get and move on with your life. Anyway, yeah, just don't be afraid to talk to the actual realtors. When you're looking, just do the math. Make sure that it's worth it for you. Don't buy something that's not going to be worth it for you monetarily, because it's an investment. Unless you're looking to live inside of it by yourself, that's totally fine. Go for it, but still don't overpay. And the same exact part, if you're looking to rent it out or keep the current person inside of it and, you know, make a proper rental return from it, make sure the numbers are correct. Make sure that you're making your money, because it's an investment. And the last thing when looking for a property is to find out about rental laws. This is a very big thing. A lot of countries and cities have started, they are trying to combat the rapid rise in prices of rent. Just make sure that wherever you are going to be buying, that you are legally able to raise the rent. A lot of places now you cannot do that. Make sure that you are able to actually rent it out to short-term prospects, and that's actually a very big thing as well. A lot of cities around the world have made it so that people, especially people who are buying to invest, that you won't be able to rent it out for short term, or if you can rent it out for short term, it's only for around a 3-month period. That's very big, because a lot of people want to buy places, have it on Airbnb for the entire year, and then make money from it, but then they find out that only 3 months out of the year are they actually able to do it, so they have to end up renting it out for the entire year on a 1-year contract. But with Airbnb, the premium is around here. On the normal thing is roughly around here, like the normal rent you should be getting. So make sure you know all the rental laws. Like, don't be afraid to do your own research. Don't be afraid to like look into something that you're also trying to get into. I think I don't be afraid is kind of the easiest way to say it. If you're looking to buy into something, start checking out prices, start making sure that the prices are correct, you're not overpaying. If you see that other things around, because usually on most websites as well, they'll show you things in your area. How much this sold for, how much that sold for. You'll find stuff directly next to you, next street over from you. People paid around here, however your price is here. It hasn't been about a good 2 or 3 years, so your price shouldn't have risen by that much for what you're trying to buy. And you should probably also be paying roughly around here as well. Make sure you're not overpaying. Make sure you do your own research. Yeah, I hope I answered all those questions. The buying price, schools, hospitals overseas, looking for in Spain, crime levels, of course, you have to. You don't want to buy someplace dangerous. Don't buy someplace dangerous. There was a video I saw on YouTube. This was years ago, years ago. There was this woman. It was incredible, because she said that I think she had about $8,000 saved up, but I think she was looking for a property to buy. She couldn't find anything. And she ended up buying something, I think in Pennsylvania, somewhere around in Pennsylvania. I want to say Philadelphia. It sounds about right. She found this place and she was like, that looks like a good deal. And it was I think a 2-floor home kind of thing. And she said she realized right after why it was $8,000. She thought she was getting a great deal and wondered why no one else had scooped it up. The people weren't paying. They had destroyed the property. I think they stole a couch from her. It was all these kind of really weird, crazy things. So make sure wherever you're buying, you know, this is why I meant the whole up and coming thing. You know, make sure it's not here, that the up and coming has started to begin, so that your property is also worth more down the line. I do hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope it's absolutely fantastic. Hope I answered all your questions. If you have any more questions, don't be afraid to ask me more comments in the comment section below. Thank you all once again for watching, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.